Hello and welcome back to Mischief Gaming. I'm your host Bob Zombie, and we're gonna do some Resident Evil stuff today, so that's fucking awesome. I did a top 10 weird Metal Gear, things before. So anyway guys, we're gonna be looking at 10-ish things in the Resident Evil franchise that I find a little bit weird, a little bit unknown. Maybe you've never heard of these before, maybe you have, I don't know, but we're going to be looking at some stuff. It's going to be in order of most common to, I guess, uncommon shit I haven't really heard of, so here we go. Yay! Okay, probably the most well-known, yet strangest minigame in Resident Evil has to be the Tofu missions from Resident Evil 2. I mean, where the fuck did they even get this idea from? Like, were they doing coke over at Capcom? Like, you know what? We should make the character models look like Tofu, have them run around, change colors and shit when they get damaged. That's what the people want. It'd definitely be a cool addition. And you know what? It was a cool addition. I really appreciate it. I wish there was more crazy shit like this in Resident Evil. I think the craziest thing we've got since the Tofu minigame was probably the Wesker mode in Resident Evil 0. So it's about due that we had a little bit of fun with Resident Evil, I think. Who knows what they could add in Resident Evil 7. Maybe instead of, like, Ghost, they can replace, Tofu, pops up and scares the shit out of you. I don't know. Resident Evil somehow shares some sort of code with GOO Troops. I don't know what this could be. Could it be, like, I don't know, some texture models? Like, I don't know. I'm not a game designer. I have no idea. It's just really weird that somehow, some way, shape, or form, fucking GOO Troop and Resident Evil are somehow linked in their code. I know they have the same director, Shinji Mikami. Shinji Mikami also worked on GOO Troop, and he worked on Resident Evil, and somehow he linked the two forever with the code. I don't know. It's pretty weird. But either way, weird fact, so there you go. Alright, so probably the most common Easter egg in Resident Evil 2 has to be Rebecca's picture. It was a pretty good kept secret at the time, but now everyone knows it. You do this by going into the STAR's office and checking Wesker's desk 50 times. After that, you will find a film. You go and get it developed, and it's Rebecca in her basketball uniform for some reason. And, I don't know, it kind of seems pervy. What the hell is this guy doing with her picture? I know he's recruiting her, but, like, I don't know, it's just pretty random that he would get her in her basketball uniform. And if she's just hired, how is she already on the basketball team? Like, what's going on here? Like, I could understand if it was the college basketball team, but that's clearly the police station's basketball team, and she was just hired because she's only 18, so I'm assuming that she couldn't have been there too long. I don't know, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but that's just me. The other weird thing, I think, is like, all these other STARS members who died, conveniently, they got rid of their shit pretty fast, and Rebecca somehow moved in like that. Why did she have a desk? What happened to Forrest, Kenneth, Brad's still there? He don't have a fucking desk, I don't think. I don't know what's going on. What happened to all these other guys? There's like 20 people. Where the fuck is their shit? They fucking move on pretty fast in Resident Evil, I don't know. Oh, I also really think it's cool that they added this as an extra costume in Resident Evil 0, so thanks guys. Thanks guys at Capcom for keeping that dream alive. Yeah. So this is a pretty well-known fact too, that Resident Evil's composer was apparently death. Like, they thought he was death, but it turns out he wasn't. Like, this is pretty recent that they found out that this guy was faking his deathness. Like, he was supposed to be like this Japanese Beethoven, but apparently he just like fucking lied a bunch of whole times and used whatever the hell a ghost composer is. I don't know. I don't write music. I think that means he like had other people write for him or something like that, and he pretended to be death, and it's just kind of a really bizarre situation. It's just kind of weird that it would land on, in Resident Evil out of all the games that it could have possibly happened to. It's just bizarre. I don't know. That's it. That's a fact. I don't know. Here's another one that's pretty common. You can shoot the camera in Resident Evil 2 and damage the screen, and it makes a crack. And it looks like he shot the camera, whatever the fuck, the TV. I don't know. It was a short one. That's why I said 10-ish. 10-ish facts, alright? They can't all be perfect. This is what I could find, okay? Alrighty. We're gonna be talking about the pink herbs from Resident Evil 0. Apparently there's some sort of pink herbs located in a code that are completely modeled and textured. If you use a Game Shark on your Resident Evil 0 for the GameCube, you can unlock a pink herb that does absolutely nothing, but it's just pink. It's pretty cool. I'd used for. Maybe they could have used it as like balm for, you know, Billy's tattoo or something. Maybe that's still healing, so he has to turn the herb into a compound that, you know, doesn't dry out his skin. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of it being used for, unless there was another status element. But I think maybe him getting a tattoo infection, you know, was a gameplay element that we needed. Alright, so in the trial version of the original Resident Evil, some people took apart the game and the code and did all that fancy stuff, and they found a rough sketch of Mega Man on Chris's skin. I think Capcom should do more tattoos on their characters. I think it'd be really cool. Maybe they should have a Mega Man on, like, Leon's thigh or something like that. Just like a little nod. But then again, I think Capcom would probably just, you know, throw Proto Man on there instead, because they fucking hate Mega Man. I don't know why, but they do. I'm sure most Resident Evil fans know what Resident Evil 1.5 is at this stage. If you don't, it's the prototype version of Resident Evil 2 that was like 95% complete before they scrapped it. It's pretty much like a completed game. They just said, fuck it, we're gonna redo it. And you know what? I kind of want to play it, but there's a part of me that's like, Resident Evil 2 is so good, maybe it was for the best. But either way, did you know there's a Pepsi machine in Resident Evil 1.5, and I love me some Pepsi, and it's just fucking awesome. And it's a shame they didn't just leave the Pepsi in Resident Evil 2. You know, I could drink a bunch of Pepsi as Claire, run around, have to piss, and there's not any bathrooms in the game. And this is a side fact. In Resident Evil 2, there are no fucking bathrooms in the entirety of the police station and the lab. Why? I don't know. Maybe in the remake you guys should add a bathroom. Just saying. Maybe you can make it like a potty puzzle. I gotta flush the damn thing 3 times or something before it unlocks. I don't know. You guys figure it out. So Resident Evil 3. Holy shit. Do you have a lot of hidden secrets that nowadays would probably get you copyrighted and sued? In Resident Evil 3, the texture quality for the background images, I should say, like pictures on the wall and stuff, is so blurred out you really couldn't tell what it is until people got the PC version, and you can clearly make out what that picture was. And they had stuff like photos of you know, Playboy magazines. They had Dino Crisis posters, which, you know, is fine. That's in their right to use their own material. But strangely enough, they have pictures of this girl, this actress, from a 90s Nickelodeon show, The Secret World of Alex Mack. It's fucking bizarre. Not only do they have this 90s kids television show from 94, they also have pictures of Doc Brown, Marty McFly, and I can't remember the lady that Doc fell in love with, but they have a picture of them in the game too. And I actually didn't believe this shit at first. I thought it was just like photoshopped or something, but no, it's really in the game. I went and I looked at a speed run of people playing it, and you can clearly see the fucking photos that they pretty much stole and threw in the game. It's pretty crazy what they got away with back then. At least I think it's pretty crazy. You know, how the fuck, why would you mix Playboy, Alex Mack, and fucking Back to the Future and Resident Evil 3? It's fucking crazy. So this really doesn't have anything to do with the games per se, but I find it weird that someone thought it would be a good idea to make a controller specifically for controlling Resident Evil. It was called the Resident Evil Pad, and I don't even know where to begin on the why. Like, why did this game need its own controller? Like, fighting games, they get arcade sticks, I get that, right? You play a fishing game, you know, some come with like a rod and a wheel, I get that, right? Samba de Amigo came with maracas. Maracas? I said maracas, whatever. I get that. Why did Resident Evil need its own controller? You don't see Super Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog getting its own controller specifically designed to play those games because they work fine with the controller they were made for. Same thing with Resident Evil. But instead you get this weird fucking controller that's half knife, half handgun. It's just bizarre. And the only thing that it really adds to the game only works for one Resident Evil game, and that's Resident Evil. Technically it's 2, but Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil Director's Cut both had the investigation mode where you could spin the items around and look at them. This has a dedicated buttons, so that way you could spin the items around and look at them, because the analog sticks and shit didn't work good enough for that. Either way, I'm getting off track here. I just found it bizarre. It has its own trigger, even though you need to press 2 buttons to like aim and shoot, and I don't think the trigger button works as the firing. I think it's for the aiming, so pointless, I think, but cool nonetheless. It's very bizarre that they thought it would be a good idea to make a controller specifically designed to control Resident Evil back then. Also, this is more of a gimmicky thing, I guess. More of a gimmicky thing. It was just for looks. Were the chainsaw controllers for the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. Now, I'm just throwing it out there that they had them. I believe the one for PlayStation 2 had more functionality than the one for the GameCube. I believe, like, if you hold it up, like, it had like a little bit of motion control in it, like you jiggle it up and he would aim for you. If you jiggled it down, he would stop aiming, or vice versa. And also it had a pull cord for the start button, like a chainsaw. I think it made a noise. The best thing about that controller, because I have it, I think it's pretty terrible to hold and play, I can't really play with it too much, is the case for that thing. It is fucking beautiful. I feel like they popped that shit right the fuck out Resident Evil. There's so many little secret things for the manuals and the cord for it. It's amazing. If you can get your hands on one and you're a Resident Evil collector, I highly recommend it. It's a cool little display piece. It's awesome. But that's the PlayStation 2 version. The GameCube version, on the other hand, came in a cardboard container. Not as stylish, but it came with a stand that was plastic. That was 10-ish weird things about the Resident Evil franchise that I found just browsing the internet and whatnot. So comment below. Let me know what you thought. Is there anything I missed that's maybe a little bit weirder than the things I've talked about? There might be. Is there anything you didn't know that I taught you, schooled you, I let you know something? They'll let you know something new about your favorite franchise, or maybe this isn't your favorite franchise, but it's one of your favorites. Maybe you're interested now, learn more about Resident Evil. That's great, awesome, cool. For more Resident Evil videos, keep it here to Mischief Gaming. I'm your host, Bob Zombie. I'll see you guys next time on Mischief Gaming, motherfuckers.